we're going to do a debrief of what happened yesterday on site, because then I can show you some things, and yeah, we'll quickly just do. So we're going to do some improvisation for the air-free dome, which is going to have, so this is a front view, or the window, the round big window. Okay, it's 1.2 meter diameter. We're going to make it out of ferrous cement. So it's going to be a cylinder. Yeah. Basically, we need to get mesh, and I'm going to draw the exact what I need, and let's see what we can find. So it's a mesh with squares of about, yeah, it comes in a huge size, probably the size of this wall. So if we could get one of those pieces, the thickness of this is about 5 millimeters, but I'm happy with what you can find. The key message here that we're able to make a circle out of it. So, about 60 centimeters, and you'll use the rest of the offcuts. You know, once you learn ferrous cement, you can.
Just hang on one moment. You know, this big piece to bring here.
Maybe they can cut it.
It's very light, I think. No, it's not heavy.
2 people.
It's big, but
2 people.
yeah.
But it might be better to cut it into 2 pieces. Would
Yeah.
it be enough?
So what I need is a 60 centimeter piece by 4 meters. This is what I need for this job. But if we plan it carefully, let me tell you why. Okay, so squares could be a little bit smaller, but it's not a small thing. It's the one that you drop into the floor to make floor not crack. So you have plenty. Your metal work is exceptional just from driving past and seeing how people are building. It's a stock standard material. So we're going to take this mesh, we're going to make it into a circle, then we're going to take your small squares from your drying boards apart, if that's what you want to do, otherwise we need to buy it. I think those trays are great. I would recommend not taking them apart, but if you're not using them, let's take them apart. But those trays are great. That's your dehydrator, but you know what you need. But I need that other mesh as well, so we're going to basically we're going to flatten it, because it's 1.2 meter diameter, times 3,14 pi, it gives us 3.7. So and we need an overlap. So it's probably like half a meter overlap. So 4.2 by. And you always wonder how wide. The key message here is that we don't have this because we have the brick line. The key message is that we don't have this thing like stopping there. You know, we need this thing to go a little bit out here and out there. So I think it will be fine, but we need to check on checkered paper, which we'll do just now. But 60 should be good. You can line it. I don't know if you've seen those Thailand dome pictures, the orange dome pictures. The guy's lying in the window. Steve Areen, yeah, he's lying in that window playing a guitar. It's a very cool feature. And okay, so we're going to take it flat, that mesh. Then we're going to take your small mesh, the 1 centimeter. We're going to put it here, and another one on the outside. And we're going to stitch it with lots of little wires, tie wires. So pliers, tie wire. So 2 millimeter tie wire, your standard tie wire. Not thin, and not thick that like your barbed wire. No, nice tie wire. Okay. So we'll stitch it all over, and we'll bend it in a circle, and then we're going to use your rebar, which I identified you have a pile of. There's a rebar that's not thick, but it's just almost thinner than my pinky a little bit. It's lying there. Yeah. So we're going to use that as a ring here, and and on the back side we're going to use it as well. Yeah. So side view would be rebar, and then this mesh. So we'll bend the mesh, and then we'll just reinforce it with rebar. And then what came to me yesterday by the river is we just have like 3 tie wires just to give it bracing. So that thing doesn't, because you're finding like the forms are going forward and back, forward and back. As soon as we put the plywood, it's like sturdy. So this bracing is going to help it not to go into an oval, not to flop. It will go like, because the wire doesn't let it go. So that will allow us then to plaster it with our plastering skills. We have a professional plasterer. So we'll just all go at it and make a nice strong mix, like 1 to 2, 1 part cement, 1 sand, 2 sand, 1 cement, and it'll be a ferro cement mix. Nice ferro cement mix. So if all goes well, which it should, in 3 days time, this thing will be like, it will be a rock. We're going to gently pick it up with 4 or 5 people, and we're going to place it in the brick line. There's going to be our bricks. Yeah? We're going to take a bit of a saw, we're going to cut it out here, we're going to put some bricks. So we need some concrete blocks or something that's lying around to support this. So I'm going to show you the side view. So let's say that's our dome. We're going to have something here, we're going to put something here, and we're going to rest this cylinder on that, because it can't stand on aircrete by itself until aircrete is fully completed. Okay, but we'll do that with cloth and everything, but we'll come across when we do that. So I'd like to build that today, and plaster it today. So whenever it arrives, so if we could take a trip to the shop. Something else occurred to me is we have a tunnel here, and we have an aircrete dome, sandbag dome here. Okay? It occurred to me that we shouldn't make this form one form, because it's just so big and it's going to be use so much wood. But we do need a form. We need a form here, and we need a form here. So when we build our aircrete and the sandbag, we go around this form. The form can stop here, and we can, we don't have to have it in the middle, but we definitely need to have it where the domes get a door cutting through. So that means more plywood.
What size?
We need another 4 boards. We need another 4 boards, and we need some wood that's rotten wood we've been recycling. Can you get that wood in the shop? Like 5 by 2 centimeters.
How much? In altogether, how much?
We'll need to just plan it. We'll draw it quickly on checkered paper and plan it.
There's more wood from the light wood that from the forms that you used yesterday. There's more in the tool shed.
Okay, let's have a look. Yeah.
That could work. Different size, I think that's better. It's more like the termite eaten wood that you used.
Okay.
And also, did you check the reinforcement material once? The white
fabric.
stuff? Yeah, the fabric. Did
No,
you check
I haven't
it?
yet.
Please, let's do it today, because...
Let's do it right now,
Yeah.
after the... Okay. So, basically, once we get these 2 forms, and once we get the window, we have all the forms we need except for our big arch. There's 2 choices we can go with the arch. The bender choice, with the plywood here and the plywood there, and beams between the 2 bends. Or we can make it again with ferro cement, which, but what's our story on the bender?
We're waiting for the chuck to come.
Just the chuck.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. And we pray to Lord that the chuck opens wide enough to take the bender stick.
The Lord is big, and the chuck will be big.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. So then it just leaves us with one form. This. So we do 1, 2, 3 if possible today. So whoever hasn't had a chance at building forms can give it a bash. So we can rotate. We made a really nice form yesterday. Yeah, and the rest of the stuff I can brief you on site. Yeah, so the question is, why can't we take a 3-meter dome and bash a huge door in it? You know, as you can see, that's just unproportionately incorrect. So you gotta like feel it out. The 3-meter dome, the windows are not going to be bigger than this. I'm even worried a little bit about the huge frame we made there, because it's just a bit too, by the time we put the side sticks and apply, it just came out too big. But you know, we'll make it work, even if we have to, you know, make it smaller or whatever the case may be, or use it in an aircrete dome, for example. But if you have a 5-meter dome, which is 5 meters high, then doing a door this size is more proportionately, you know, that works. Aircrete we can get away with huge openings and huge, because the brick is so light. The sandbags are very heavy. You saw, like 3 buckets, you can't lift it. Now that dome is going to use 1,000 buckets. You know, it's just too heavy. So that's why we've got these sturdy, smaller windows, frames. So in terms of the plywood, why I said 4, because it comes in 2.4 meters. So we'll be able to cut this shape, which is going to be probably 1.8 by 80. So if it's 80, then it's 40 high, the radius. So this part will be 40. So if it's 40, we want the door 1.9. So Frank can get in. Minus 40 is 1.5, so this is going to be 1.5. So it will take 2 meters of board.
And that 4 times.
So that, and I think your boards are 2 meters, or what are they?
They're all that size that I brought the day before.
I think they were at 180.
180.
Yesterday you brought.
Look, if we got 180, we'll make it work. It's just the Frank's height, but if we want to make it slightly higher, we put 4 bricks underneath, which we will anyway, because the way to take these forms out, you put bricks and wedges, and you kick the bricks out, and the form goes, and then you know, otherwise there's all the pressure on the bag on top of it. So we need to check that we have enough thin plywood, and we need ×4 for this.
And that thickness of this, like the one I brought before? Or can that also be thin?
Look,
that 4 pieces.
what Cara got us is amazing. If you want your forms to last.
Yeah. This is, yeah, but that is very heavy. Like that one I carried was half that size and super heavy from side to side. And we need 4 people to carry them. And we need the mesh, so we need 6 people to go there and bring it. So,
Wow.
Yes, that's it. It should be stable, of course, but I think then it's better we go to Dome again and buy it like you yesterday with the
All right.
And then you have to understand that's a big issue for us, you know. Like yesterday we could get them also in one go. Now we have to drive again to Domre, have another Jeep, costs us 3,000 rupees. It's okay for now, but plan a little bit, so if we need more, we take everything today from Domre. Because we again have a Jeep, we can load it, but we need to plan this a little bit better. It's half-day work, it's a lot of rupees, so...
Yeah, I hear you. This is the thinking. When I was designing the bottom 2 rows, I was designing it for 2 curves made out of steel bend, so I wasn't concerned about sizes, and that's why I've placed them 252. Okay, because our bender and that whole story hasn't happened yet, we're realizing that we're going to be making the box out of plywood very similar to the style with these beams. So it's going to be a heavy box. The distance between 2 bags currently is 252. This is what we have built here, 252. As you can see here, if the box goes slightly out, a little human can sit against it and use it as a leaning, like a little couch to lean against. Which means that's 252, and that's even going further out. So I'm recommending and I'll leave it for you guys to discuss quickly whilst I run and get a compass, to build 2 extra bags, one here and one here, a bit closer. I know it's double work, but then we're able to use just the plywood 2.4. It's 123. You know, worth having a little curve for a human being to enjoy a cup of tea. To build these 2 little bags that we can just have these plywoods, and we'll still have a little wooden beam in between the 2, because there'll be 2 separate forms. We'll still have a little wooden beam this size between the 2 that we can kick out. The forms come in, we'll kick out the wedges, so the forms drop down. They come in and drop down by 3.5 centimeters, which should be enough for it to be smaller, and we just can take them out.
More easily, yeah, because this stuff is heavy.
Yeah, and then our acrete bricks are going to do that on the outside. First we're going to oil them with oil, some sunflower oil, then we're going to put the cloth, geotextile. Okay, so just decide that. I'll quickly run and get a compass and a ruler, and we can do a proper design thing for this house and do it together. Okay, so we can switch.
Recording.
Okay, so guys, the first thing to decide is the scale. We can either have, and we want to go as big as we can on paper, but keep it to, maybe let's try 1 to 2. So we've got a 4.2 meter dome. Yes? Inside foundation. Inside. Is it inside? Okay, so it's 4.7 full. Okay, plus we have a 1.6 tunnel. Plus we have a 3 meter inside, so 3.5 sandbag dome. So we've got 3.5 plus 1.6, 5.1 plus 4.7 is 9.8. 9.8. The question is, do we go 9.8 and make that same tiny little thing that I did the other day, or do we double it? On this paper, we can't double it because it's 20. Okay, so then you draw the scale on the side. 2 blocks equals 1 meter. Okay, now we draw it up. So when you're drawing it up, you want to be able to, if all goes well, draw full foundation circles here and draw a side view here, right on the same paper.
Why not starting with the side view?
We can. Good idea.
Because it's straight.
Yeah. So good idea. Okay. So but let's first draw the lines. So we have a 4.2. Okay. Plus the bag is 25. 25 millimeters. So it's half a meter. So that's our bag. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.2 plus another 5 millimeters for the bag. Does everybody understand why 5 millimeters is the bag? This is 1 meter. This is half a meter. This is 25 centimeters. Okay, so that's our acrete dome. Okay, then we've got a 1.6 meter tunnel, so it's 3.2. Does it make sense? Yeah. Then we have a 3.5 meter dome with a 25.
4.5.
4.2.
4.2 meters.
Yeah. 4.2. Oh, sorry.
Razor. Oh, you got one.
Got you.
Well pointed. Okay, so double everything up. Double everything up. 4.2, so it's 8.4. Well spotted. Okay, then we've got 25 centimeter foundation. Then we've got 25 centimeter foundation. Then we've got a 1.6 meter tunnel, which is 3.2.
Yeah.
Yeah? Then we have a 25 centimeter foundation. Frank, are you still with me? Mm-hmm. And then we have a 3.5 meter dome, which is 7. Okay?
Now you have 7.5.
Sorry, 7. So we've got 7. And we have a half meter foundation. Okay. Then we have a compass that's a certain distance away from foundation. Could you go and measure how far it is from from the bag. You remember the stick that we stuck in that gives us for the sandbag?
The little wooden stick.
No, the metal thing was a chain standing on the outside of standing in the tunnel. Can you see how? Can you go and measure
How far?
how far is it from the outside edge of the bag? Then we have a real life.
Cross the compass. Cross the.
You'll measure from the outside of the sandbag bag to the compass. It's about 1/2 meter. Just check me. They more or less, or should more or less.
From the center peg.
No, the outside peg. This peg, Peter.
I know the outside peg, but the other side I'm not sure about.
Here, you want to give me this distance. How far is it from the sandbag? From the outside of the sandbag.
This way.
Do you want me to quickly run and do
This is
it?
outside.
Are you confused? Can I? So times to 30. So 6 millimeters. Okay. All right. Then we placed it a bit high. You remember we placed it a bit high. I think it's about 30 centimeters. Okay. Does everybody understand that that distance is where the house will go straight without curvature? The sandbag house.
Okay, yeah.
This is why. And that's another thing we need to check is the compass is coming apart. German quality.
It's definitely German quality.
Helix.
Then it's working.
Okay, so I'm gonna just drop down everything a little bit. Okay, so that's the curve of the dome. 6 millimeters from the outside of the bag, I gotta do the same. Does it make sense? What I do here is what I do here. Yeah? So there is 6. Let me just drop a line of where I started. So 6 millimeters to the foundation, yeah? Got that. Got it. Then we've got 6 millimeters going straight down. Sorry, 6 millimeters going straight down. So this distance is where the bag is coming up straight. 6 millimeters straight down. And this is important design work, just because you were wondering, you didn't know how to draw floor plans. This is it.
Yeah.
Okay? Then we have the thickness of the bag. So we can free fall here. You can use a compass, but just for the sake of time, I'm just going to free fall, more or less. 5 millimeters. Is everybody still with me? Yeah?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. No, I know you're here, but like, you know what I mean? Are you getting it?
He's all over it.
Okay, then we've got a thing going here. So straight up, and then it starts curving. And this is when you plan your skylights and windows and all the story. So this is what we're gonna have as a house. So this is our floor. And obviously foundation goes below that level, which we still have a few rows of, I think three rows of sandbags. The way to do, and I'll talk about plastic, but let me just, the bottom 2 bags get wrapped in plastic and get overlapped here, and then this bag gets completely covered in plastic. It's all in the course, just reminder. Okay, that stops any water from going up. Okay, then we have our tunnel. We want it how high? 1.8 meters high. Are we comfortable that from the floor, like 1.8 is good? Means super tall people will need to lean in. Okay, so it's 3.6. 3.6 is our tunnel height.
Why not making it bigger?
We can 2 meters,
I think 2 meters makes sense.
but it's huge. Okay, let's go on 1.9. 3.8. There is a reason. I'm not just trying to be difficult. It's a very small dome. To make a huge door of 2 meters high for only a 3 meter dome.
Well, you don't really see the door, obviously, like you're running through, like from one to another.
Okay, I'd make it 1.8. Let's just see what 1.8 looks like, and if we're still not happy with it, we can change it.
Okay.
So it means 1.8 is 3.6 centimeters. Yes, everything is doubling. Are we on the scale? Are we
Oh yeah.
still getting that? Okay.
Times
So
by 2.
3.6. And why is this not 3.6? 3.6. There it is. Okay. Then let's draw the aircrete dome. Okay. The aircrete dome, we're gonna start at belly button level. Why? Why not? A meter ish, more or less. Frank, you might want to go like your belly button level if you're designing a home for you. But I'm assuming everybody is going to be as short as me. Okay. So, where's the center of this dome? Okay, the center of this dome would be between these 2 points.
2.1.
4.2 times 8.4. 8.4, there it is. So 4.2 would be our center. Let's draw the center line. Is this useful?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. This is our center. This is our 1 meter high. Okay. We're gonna draw the inside part of
The
foundation.
This is not 1 meter.
oh, this should be 2 meters.
Look, there should be 2, so it's in the middle of this one. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. German quality. Okay. So 4.2 is this line. We're still on it. So it's gonna puff out. Okay, forget these 2 lines. These 2 lines are just showing us where the sandbag is. There it is. This 2 lines showing us where the sandbag is. We can still check where we're going to be placing. The aircrete brick is 10 centimeters, meaning it's 2 millimeters on checkered paper. There's our aircrete brick, the thickness of it. Yeah? Are we on the same page? Okay. So 2 millimeters, more or less, is 2 millimeters more or less is our thickness of aircrete brick. More or less, it's like, okay. So this is our aircrete dome.
I mean, this one we need to recover.
Yeah, so looking at already what I've drawn, is slightly out, but you know, what I'm trying to say is we're gonna place it more or less in the middle of the bag, more or less. So it's probably gonna be slightly bigger, but you know, but middle of the bag is where we start and we carry on from there on. Boom. You know what I mean? Not too much on the edge. You can play a little bit, but
Also with these bricks, I think we can cut the last one so that it fits again there.
we can, yeah, all the bricks we can cut. Yeah, not all the bricks, but yes. Okay, so this is the side view of our dome, and then we have a tunnel. And this is the box that we're planning right now. The 2 boxes we're planning right now. Let's draw the current front bags.
This distance.
Yeah, right now they're 2.5 meters, so they're
252.
so they're 252
Inside.
250 this way
Inside.
and 250 that way. So okay, and they're 25 centimeters wide. So our current bags are there. If you're looking, if I'm standing in front of the house, oh sorry, and I'm looking that way, yeah. So we've got the bag here. Real life scenario. And you'd obviously do this before you plan your house. And that you're gonna have 10 times less problems. And it's fine. It's good that we had problems, because if you hit these problems without me being here, you're not gonna know the answers. We're figuring it out together. You know? So this is what we have right now. I'm recommending that we build another bag on the inside. So we can use our 2.4 meter ply, and let's just see. More or less. Okay?
Can we not just use this one here?
Yeah.
1 meter high.
Okay, but the arch doesn't, let's plan it, because the arch doesn't have to have the geometry, the same geometry as the dome of 1 meter high.
Yeah, this is good to know.
Okay, the arch. What we really want to hit is we want to hit that. But our wood is 2.4. Yes, but our wood is 152 high. Look, Frank, you don't need to do this. Sorry, 122. Our wood width is 122. Okay, centimeters. Plus, if we're going to be using these blocks, it's an extra 3.5 plus 3.5 plus 7 centimeters because of these blocks. Yeah. Plus this wood itself is, you know, you gotta, like, the devil is in the details.
We are talking 130, yes.
5 millimeters, so it's plus another 1 centimeter. So we're talking 130. 130 plus, if we're gonna be doing this wood block here in the middle, we're gonna add another 3.5. 133. So it's 2.6. 2.6 is our limit meters. So it's 2.6 here and 2.6 here is our limit that our wood allows us without making a whole box in the middle, which, ask Frank how long this took. This is time. So we don't want to do this box in the middle. We want to have these two boxes and have a wedge that we can kick out of this thickness and... Okay.
But we want to calculate the size of the two pieces outside.
We want to calculate, we'll do that now. Okay, so this is our limit. So we set it to our limit. We set it to our limit and we check. You see, we're just on the inside edge of this bag, of the current bag. I'm just drawing a light line. We might redraw it, but I'm just showing you that's a possibility of the current window being that, and that's good. That's good. You've got. Let's erase this line. Okay, so this has got a little bit of a lean for your back. Yeah.
So you just did that from also the same point?
No. There's the point.
Okay. You just did that randomly, the point, or?
Yeah, I did it. No, I did it randomly. Sorry, there's the point. I did it randomly.
Okay, and you can actually construct it a way that this circle kind of fits to the outer circle. No?
You can. You can.
I would do that because then it fits more to the whole.
Okay, that's what you're saying is lift it up higher.
No, it's not what I'm saying.
Okay,
it's like
wait. Before we do that, let's put our limitations. Our limitation is the height of the wood, which is 2.4. So 4.8. Let's put our limitations of wood. Okay. You also.
Okay, so you still have to put also this is plywood, and then you still have like this one come on top of it.
Yeah, but you don't want to go too high, because you must remember, I'm just gonna draw a temporary. If you're talking about a box, here, that's still okay. The higher you go, it just starts curving in too much. It becomes a tricky for a workshop experience, So what you're saying is you'd want this thing to be like this.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying.
But so
what I'm saying is just like it harmonizes more with the outfit.
Look, it'll look nice whether it's like this. We also could, just so you know, we could have a little leaning arch. We could have two leaning arches doing.
I think the higher you go, the more it curves in the bottom.
Okay, so let me give you three options. You can have a window that's like this. It will curve in. You can have a window that's got that does that, and it has a slight point, which will replicate and harmonize with the dome that is standing next to. and it's very pretty. So you've got a round dome and you've got a window that's slightly like, you've got a nice little, you know, you've got like a...
I think the round thing is nicer.
So this is like client, it'll still be wide, but it'll just have a little point on, you know.
But lying will be not like reclining that much, no?
No, we can still make it reclining. I'm just saying you'll have a thing here.
Pointed, yeah.
Have you seen in Hajaro's videos from Thailand? He's had an interesting domes with these windows in a round dome. It looks quite cool. So if I follow with the geometry of the outer line, this thing comes in even more. Can you see? Like way too much more. So I would just maybe just drop it a little bit. That's our limitation. Let me just erase all of it. It's just kind of messy.
Yeah, that's a dome.
So limitations. Okay, so basically by the drawing of it, I can see if we're to fit this plywood as wide as we can, what that tells me right here is that that footing ain't gonna sit on this bag. And it's a bummer, and I'm really sorry. That's why, yeah, it's the way it is now.
It's better we put another bag there.
It's better that we put another
Which
bag.
will be also a good feature because we could sit also on the side of the window outside.
Well, you can't really sit unless you are in a bowing position to the sun, because you're going to be sandwiched. The window is like this and your body is here.
Oh, I see.
And you can't sit here, but you could, one could do a little brick little thing here and fill it with soil and have little plants coming out. That you can do.
Yeah, I see. We'll find a way.
That you can do. You can have little, you know, little plants, and it'll be very pretty. You could have little plants, you know, doing this around the window. That's also a possibility. So okay, so basically this is our shape. Let's do the side. Let's do the top view now. This is Serena's devil. Is floor plan.
Yeah.
So we take it off here.
Visualization.
We take it off here. We drop the center line for our sake. Okay. That's our floor plan of the aircrete dome. Yeah. Then we drop all the lines. That's our tunnel. That's our tunnel entrance to the other dome. This is our outside of the Sandbag Dome. And this is the inside of our Sandbag Dome.
Do you also do the planning sometimes at your in your PC or laptop?
Yeah, that'll be amazing. This is the next level, but it all starts with paper. Don't underestimate the power of paper.
I know.
Because otherwise you're going to muck
Sketching.
about, sit in AutoCAD, and you just do it on paper. If you want, of course, more professional by all means, then, you know. Okay, so our tunnel is 80 centimeters wide. So now you're doing the top view. We know that our tunnel is 80 centimeters wide because we just measured it. So it's 8 this way and 8 this way, 1.6. Okay.
But still also the
Plus the width of a bag.
The width of your bricks should be also measured.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is not even the bricks. Our aircrete dome. Our aircrete dome will puff out. Sorry, this is the wrong line. This is the outside of the aircrete.
Yeah.
The sandbags, your floor, if you're drawing the floor plan of the couch, your floor is here.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Your floor is here. So you ain't planning your couch because that is what the width is of at the belly button level. So your floor is, in terms of the floor space, is here. Okay, more or less, but yeah. Okay, so that's where you can do your little couch, and you can do little super adobe things here. You know, you can do a little super adobe thing with or little bricks. You can do your little rocket stove. You can plan your tables, and I'm not gonna spend time, but you know, I like you know, you can make a really cool little teardrop tables, and you know, and don't be afraid, because this is you know it now. This is plywood and jigsaw. That table. You can do your kitchen sink, little clay, little urn that can go in there. You know, then you plan your plumbing that can go out, so you need to accommodate for a pipe, but aircrete is so light you can just take a 50mm attachment on a drill and go boom.
Okay.
But sandbags, yes, it takes 50 times longer to bash out with rebar versus just like we're doing now, a little pipe. And you'll see it in the course, so the bag runs, you put a little 50mm pipe, the next bag will just go whoopa and go over that, take 2 seconds. To bash this out is a story, but we don't have plumbing to deal with, but just to touch on that. And it's all in the course. Okay, so let's do it. The tunnel runs, why'd I have 2 lines? I already forgot.
The thickness of the bag?
No, the bag is a bit thicker than that. The bag is, oh yeah, it is 25mm. Yeah, you're right. Okay, and then we have our Sandbag Dome, which is on this line. Floor plan would be here. Outside of the dome would be here. Okay, so let's plan this box. Now the big question always comes, well, how big do I make the box? You don't want to make it too big, but you want to be optimal material, keeping that this is 1.122 wide. So 61, you can get 2 boxes from 1 ply. I'm talking about the outer ply, you know, the forming ply. Okay. So let's see. So do you agree that?
So in the optimal way, you would have done the boxes already really in the beginning before you even start. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then after you've done that, you can just build the sandbags.
The boxes take the box in the first week. We just had the boxes made, and a little maybe like what we had in terms of the height on the Sandbag Dome. The second week, that aircrete dome. Once the boxes are made, this aircrete dome went up in 5 days. The whole thing. It's blocks this size. You're stacking them. Boom, boom, boom. You're going 2-3 rows a day. You know, yeah, fast. The forms take time, so you got good investments here. Okay, so basically the question is, how big do we make the box? That's always the question is. So if we make this box, and also we want to plan it for future, but basically you want to go on the outside of this with a little bit of space, and you want to go on the inside of this with a little bit of space. And you can see by looking at that box can be 40 centimeters.
That's okay. It will be also.
But I would do it 60, because you never know, next dome you might have a smaller dome with a slightly bigger, slightly more curvature, then you would need a bigger box.
But we can do 260.
We could do 260, yeah.
Then one
So
ply
here,
is okay.
let's double check. We'll drop down on the inner inside edge, which is here, plus a little bit of space. And this is safely. Don't worry about this little gap, it still will be fine. Plus you want to go from the outer edge plus an extra, because 1 block, sorry, five blocks here is 25, so 1 block is 5 centimeters. So you got an extra 5, you give yourself maybe an extra 10 centimeters.
Basically what it should do, it's got to support the line of
The sandbags, the sacks, and the aircrete bricks.
And there it should be in the middle.
And I can see that box is 1.4, so 70 centimeters. But that was an extra. If I take away the extra, and I'm just here, 1.2,
But we're talking the thick plywood here. And
Yeah.
and that was 122.
Yeah, 1.260. You know what we can do? We can make one box 70 because because 60 would be a squash. Like I'm here. We'll make one box 70 and the other one 50.
Or 52.
Okay.
And so we're safe here. We're safe here. We're all in agreement because this only needs to be 40. Remember?
But can we double check with the size over there, because otherwise
No.
we have
We-
already a wall here, so, and sometimes it's already like,
Oh, you talk about the width. Oh yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna go with a measuring tape and just double sure that like, are we 80? Maybe we're 77. And if we're 77, we ain't gonna get that box in there. Does it make sense?
Inside.
The
inside
thing
here,
that
yeah.
comes in the most,
Yeah.
the worst bag.
yeah.
The worst.
Okay, guys, do you have any questions?
So basically, when you have the boxes already, you just place them already there, and then you just work around them
Yeah.
once you have the foundation.
Say it again.
We have already rows,
Yeah.
but like eventually we have the boxes already before.
Okay,
So
so
you
you
place
place your
them
boxes and you work
already.
around them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ah.
Just like we do right now with the window.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. You might have difficulty putting two boxes at the door because you can't get in and out. If the walls are short, you can climb over, but when the walls get to, yeah, actually,
you
no,
have
no,
to
you'll have to climb in and out.
Yeah.
You'll have to have a ladder, get in and get out. You're right. Yeah, the boxes would be placed. You're building around the boxes. They also give you a guide. The boxes act as a guide. Okay, so let's place this round.
Otherwise, you build the boxes while you're doing the walls, and then the boxes doesn't fit.
Yeah. So let's put the window. I think it's more or less. The window is more or less shooting out at this angle, more or less. Yeah. And it's 95, correct? With everything. So let's call it 1.8, 1.9. So is 95 this way and 95 that way. So that's our window box currently. Someone sitting there. And if you really want to draw this now, you can take this section. That's what architects do. You can now draw this view on the side view of this. What you would do is you take another piece of paper, and this is a good design lesson, just so you know, because you want to look at your, let's say you know nothing about CAD and 3D. You want to be able to, so we fold it on nicely on this thick line here.
3D, you would you use Rhino?
You can, I use Rhino. Okay, and then you can now say, okay, there's my foundation. You know, let's say that's your house. And then your window is at what height? You check the height that we started at. I think it's about 40 centimeters high.
Yeah.
40, 50, somewhere there. Let's just assume it's 50.
yeah.
Okay, so that's our height of the window. That's our box. We need to check the height. Let me quickly, speed took the measuring tape.
Yes.
Okay, just switch it off for a sec. I'll be right back. Okay, so the thing is sitting at 45. So I was almost right. And the box is 122 high. Again, you would design it on here before you build, but I'm just going back from what was built. So 122, 2.4. 2.4. Okay. So we're drawing this section. Let's call it A to B. You want to see what the side of the house is going to look like. So we have 2.4. We have our thickness of bag. We're still here. We could chop it off here and make a skylight if we want. I'm just being fancy with it. Would shape a little bit of the bag, and then you put your skylight. This is when you plan it. You plan it now, okay? But we have our window. We'll have a window sill at a slight angle to divert the water.
How do you measure the skylight?
You'd go see what's available in terms of perspex bubbles here, if the bubble you want, if it's available. There could be. They use them for like exhibitions and, you know. Or you put a flat glass if it's not available. Anybody can cut your circular glass. I did. For one dome I use a circular glass, for another one I use the Perspex.
Well, we
bar.
can't use glass here because it's gonna hail here and then.
Yeah, so, but you know, I'm just saying, this is when you plan. You'd go to the shop, you'd say, okay, I just found on Google a 50 centimeter diameter. You'd plan it in, or you found a 1.2. I used a nice 1 meter, so whatever. What I want to show you is the window. So we've got a window here. So how do you plan how deep is the boxes? You want to go on the outside of this, you know, outside of that, and that tells you 55 centimeters. So you think 60, make it 60. Then why do you need to trim off and the wood? You know what I mean? You got that? Okay. So how will it look at the end? The window will have an eyebrow, which we're going to build. It's going to be a nice little feature. It'll have an eyebrow. It'll come in here. Well, there won't be anything here. Just hold it.
It's my dad. He walks up the hill now.
I think the tractor is on the way. We'll have an eyebrow here, and we have a little window sit at an angle. And that's basically what you're gonna have in terms of the
So
dome.
with the box, you have the box inside, and then you're just gonna.
The box, I already raised the box, but
How
that
are you gonna do the eyebrow then?
the,
eyebrow you will do.
I mean, I've erased it on paper. I haven't erased it in real life. It's still there.
Yeah. But like, if you, I thought like, so the eyebrow you do once. When
Don't worry,
it's
we'll do. Yeah, the box will be there. We'll build an eyebrow around. That's why I need the other bags, because they're going to be like hanging. They're going to be lots of barbed wire, like a nice little feature. It'll look ugly as hell when we're building it, but when you're done, like that South African eyebrow was actually quite beautiful. You saw it.
Yeah.
It's a fat bag. The same one I used for my wall, like 70. It looked ugly when we bought it. Oh my god! But when you plaster, it's like, oh no. You know. So it's very forgiving. So you guys got it. We know now the size of the box. We know the height of the box. Now the question arises. You know, so let's say that that's 80. So let's just draw the box here. Okay, so it's 80. So let's draw to scale. 1.6. Yeah. 1.6. Okay. We want the box how high? There's our height. There's our height. So it's 3.6.
Yeah, but you said we're gonna have a round thing.
Yeah, we will have a round
so
thing.
So the box will be
I'm
180 already, and then we have a round thing.
No. Full height 180. When I'm talking about this, I say full height. Then we still have aircrete bricks. I forgot to mention it's gonna have thickness here. Whether we do aircrete bricks or ferrocement, we've got 3 options here. We've got ferrocement option.
But you said it's gonna be round, right?
Actually, right now we only have one option. Unless we make this box the whole way through, then we have 2 other options. We can aircrete brick it. We can sandbag it. Klar. With the current option, our boxes are only here. We only have one option. An option is all of this, from the edge of this, is going to be ferrocement mesh. One option. And that's what we're doing.
Okay.
And that's what we will do. Okay.
Have you ever done one other question about visualization?
Before I go on, I just want to finish with the box, because this is what we're going to be building. Okay, so we've got 1.6, so we've got 80. 80 is our center line. Okay. 80 divided by 2 is 40. So we've got 80. So we've got 40 is our, 80 is our thing. We use our circle here. Yeah, 16. So it's 8, yeah? Okay. So that will answer your question.
Yes.
So the whole box is 1.8 less 40, 1.4. So the height of the box is 1.4. Let's check my mathematics. It should be 2.8 centimeters. Yeah, almost, yeah. Yeah, but in terms of mathematics is 1.4 plus 0.4. We've got 1.8 total height. Look, we're gonna have a little bit of extra gain with these blocks, so don't worry. We'll have 183, 183.
Yeah.
Plus, we're gonna put it on wedges, which is gonna give us another 3, 186.
I'm
By
just
the time
saying,
we're done,
like,
but
I think if I would do like another, we're gonna plan more, obviously we have to think about taller people, right?
you can
because
put
we
the
don't
same box
only
on
have-
bigger concrete blocks when you're building.
Yeah, because we are like, I mean, if you have 140 here, so basically just one person can walk through and can walk through only in the very middle, because here it's gonna be already one.
Yeah, but that's where you walk. There's a tunnel this wide. Why would you walk anywhere to the side of the tunnel? Look,
I don't know, maybe
look,
you have something in a tunnel standing, right? Like you.
not in this tunnel, not for this size dome. When you're doing a bigger thing,
Yeah.
plan a bigger thing. I would go for standard door. Standard door from the shop. Okay? However it looks. Then you do a little half moon thing. And then you have a
Is
really...
half moon thing needed?
Yes, unless you do a concrete beam on top. Which you can do with sandbags, but it's another story. In essence, you hammer rebar into the side. You add cement, more cement into the mix. You've got the bag, you've got your wooden shape lying, strong wooden shape lying on top of the door. You put your sandbag flat on top, and then you hammer 2 sticks of rebar. Boom, into it. I don't teach it because I like the little round thing, but you can. You can. And then you can have straight, but then you have rebar that won't collapse. Or you go to the shop and you get a concrete lintel? Lintel? What are they called? You know what I'm talking about. They
Yeah.
put them above doors. Those little,
Yeah.
you know, so
yeah.
they look like quite rough, but yeah. Okay. So for this size dome, this is good, and this box you'll be able to do for many other domes. Okay. Do we have any more questions on the design work? We basically drew the whole house from scratch.
Did you do any visualization with Cinema 4D already? Like,
No.
never. Okay.
If anybody wants to add assistance, I'm more than grateful. Okay. I just wanted to show you, excuse my look, but yeah, who needs an architect? Here's a quick sketch. We did it the first day of the workshop. We didn't even have a sketch. I just drew a quick sketch to scale on the first day, and here it is. Tomorrow is the 12th day of the build, only 12 days, and we got it. You don't need an architect. Just a quick sketch, side view, top view, and that's it. Job done.